she asked, how do you handle cultural holiday traditions with adopted kids? Because sometimes we don't know their cultural background. Do you want to address
Yeah,
that?
I think I can, but I want to say right off the bat that I am not an expert in adoption, and so I do not want to speak for anybody. I think it's best to listen to the lived experience of people who have been
Mm,
adopted. So I want to say right
mm,
off the bat that I've not been adopted and I've not lived that experience of being
mhm.
adopted. But I know that one thing that many families do is that they work on reaching out to the culture that their kids are adopted from and learning
Yes.
about it and incorporating that. And so I think that
Mm-hmm.
can be really powerful. And to look for events in your community that are around that cultural background,
Yeah.
if they exist in your
Mm-hmm.
community. I know that not everywhere, depending on if you live in a really small town, you're not going to have access to as many resources, but taking them to those events where they can see people who look like them and who share that cultural background, to see how they experience the holidays and the traditions, that can be really impactful. I think from what I've
Mm-hmm.
learned, again, I'm not adopted, so I can't speak to that background.
Yeah, I have 10 adopted siblings, so I'll answer that a little bit.
Yeah.
I have multiple siblings that are actually Native American, and so my parents have dove into the Native American culture, going to powwows and a whole bunch of other things. And of course, they do have those holiday types of events, and making sure that there was time in that holiday schedule to go to those events, and because it was culturally significant to those adopted siblings of mine, that really found, had to connect their identity with that group. And so, yeah, just like Melissa said, just making the time and seeing what's available around you, it can make a huge difference, and really enrich your whole family's culture by learning about that and sharing it and integrating it into family traditions you had before they came into your family too. So Kara, so any adopted children traditions in addition to your Lithuanian background, and that's the wonderful thing about being in the United States. We have this melting pot of traditions. Then we can mix and match them however
Yes.
they best suit our families.
You get to
And
make your
yeah,
own traditions. Like,
right.
sometimes we think of traditions as having to have been this thing that continued
Mm,
for many years behind us. But if
right.
your family does something and they do it every year, that's
Hmm.
your family creating your own tradition. It doesn't have to be something that has like hundreds of years of history behind you. Even just simple things that you do every year that have come to be a part of the holiday can be a
Hmm.
tradition. So sometimes I think, like, if when my kids were little, I thought, like, I don't have any family traditions, like, because my family, we didn't have big traditions. But what I
Mm.
realized is we had traditions. They were just much smaller and much less elaborate
Yeah,
than I
yeah.
sometimes saw portrayed from other families' traditions. So I think
Mhm,
recognizing that it doesn't have to be a big elaborate thing to be a
mhm.
tradition, to be a part of your family's holiday celebrations. It can be there and also be something small, but it's
Right,
something that you
yeah.
do every year that
Mm,
is really
mhm.
meaningful to you, and that's the important part of a tradition.